Hello, my name is Jessica Garcia, and the title of the presentation that I went and saw is named Space, Lasers, and Urban Heat. The name of the professor who actually goes and attended Texas A&M, his name is Professor Justin J. Jones, who's a GISP Sorency Poster C and who has a PhD. He has an education in 3 fields: bachelor's of science in agriculture, specifically range and wildlife management. He went back to school, got his master's in ecology and conservation biology, and did that as well for his PhD a few years later. Okay, and look at a quick summary of the presentation overall, which with everything that I saw and every facts that he brought up were the research investigating specifically urban vegetation roles and mitigating urban heat effects, especially in roads here in College Station, as we see, or bigger cities such as Dallas and Houston that are more compressed. Utilizing advanced technologies like spaceborne mobile LiDAR along with AI computer visions. The study, hosted by also Texas A&M University, focuses on understanding the spatial and temporal quality of urban vegetation, and of course integrating findings into urban planning and to address the heat-related stress around towns due to urbanization. And during the presentation, there were 3 main questions that stood out to me the most, and those were: how does urban vegetation influence urban heat mitigation? Are ISAT-2 and GID-1 LiDAR data maps urban heat effects, or the validating urban vegetation measurements and how AI compresses into that. And then with that being said, I have a hypothesis, and that first one being the increased urban vegetation correlates with reduced urban heat effects. My second one being LiDAR data combined with AI computer vision affects high precision insights into urban vegetation and heat dynamics. And then lastly, integrating these technologies into urban planning will result in effective urban heat mitigation and strategies. So my primary method, still on the first question or section, the study leverages data from ISC SAT-2 and GID-1 LiDAR spaceborne systems alongside mobile LiDAR setups for measurements and validations. AI computer vision algorithms are applied to analyze these data sets, producing high-result mapping of urban vegetation and heat distribution. This disciplinary approaches combine space technologies or on-ground measurements, not so much. And then of course artificial intelligence, AI. And a resulting conclusion from this would be the findings of confirm the effectiveness of LiDAR technology and AI in analyzing urban heat and vegetation. Once finishing the process, visual data representing illustrates urban heat patterns alongside vegetation distributions, providing actionable insights. The study concludes that integrating these advanced methodologies into urban planning can lead to impact strategies for addressing urban heat challenges, which we are still currently facing. And then the poster exemplify cutting of edge environmental results, and it highlighted potential of space lasers in an eye. And a big also question, just to add on, that the professor wanted to also have us to keep in mind was: what are your thoughts on the intersections of technology and environmental sustainability? So throughout that whole presentation, that's something I kept in mind while answering my hypotheses and also concluding it or summarizing it. And whenever we're moving to the third part of the oral presentation, The study connects deeply to ecological principles taught in class. Ecology emphasizes interactions between organisms and their environment, and their research highlights how urban vegetation impacts on microclimate and helps mitigate urban heat and critical ecological phenomena. It reinforces the concept of biodiversity, information, and sustainable, healthy ecosystems, even in densely populated urban areas. This study showcases applied ecology by using cutting-edge technologies to monitor and preserve environmental stabilities, aligning with concepts like sustainability, resource management, and the role of vegetation in ecological balance. In terms of its connecting to daily life, it demonstrates the practical implications of urban planning and green spaces, as we see. Living in Houston, a city known for its heat and humidity, researchers like to emphasize the value of strategic landscaping, like planting trees or designing shaded areas in specifics, to compose urban heat effects for that purpose. As a landscape architect student, also, the finding directly aligns with my profession, which showcases the vegetations and like the leverage to create like healthier urban environments. And that also kind of relates to a class I took last semester, urban planning, and how like heat compresses, and like along with like just having several roads and just lots of people in a small space, large community could do. And heat waves, as mentioned, and as a result, they're both intriguing and very provoking. While it's expected that urban vegetation helps reduce heat, using technologies like LiDAR and AI to analyze these maps will affect their add-ons, pheasantizing layers of precision and practicality. The real surprise lies in the potential to transform urban planning with spaceborne laser and advanced algorithms.